What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Modern Warfare 4. Today we're doing a settings breakdown video. You can see over here the beta will be ending in 39 minutes, so I've had a lot of time to tinker and play around with what I think are the best settings to get the most out of your game. So if we come over here, we will start in graphics. Most of the stuff in the display is mostly personal preference. I have found that reflex on low latency on rather than on plus boost, I've just found it works better for me, but have a play around and see what you guys think with that setting. Again, most of this is personal preference. I've got it set to custom. I've got a frame limit of 144 because I want to just be hitting that all the time with not too many drops. And obviously you can do whatever you want for main menu and AFK frame rates. That's entirely up to you. Just set this to native, and then other than that, everything else is pretty normal in here. Make sure VSync's all off. The usual business here. Coming over to quality, this is where it gets a bit more complicated. So I've had the best gain, I think, playing with DLSS. I have tried DLAA, but I found DLSS was a bit better for my graphics card. But again, play around with it. I've got mine set to performance. If you want all the frames you can get, set it to ultra performance, but I think performance offers a better balance option for me than balance does. It doesn't look too bad, the game, but you get a good frame rate. I've got my sharpness set to 50, that's what it was just set to by default. I don't have anything AMD, so we'll skip past that one. I set my VRAM scale target to 80, I think by default it's at 70, I just upped it a little bit. I mean, when you're already, I'm not using a whole lot of VRAM anyway, so you can probably set that to whatever you want. Make sure all motion blur is turned off. I've only got it set for the cutscenes, just it makes no difference at all. But just make sure you've got weapon motion blur off, depth of field motion blur, and then, yeah, just make sure they're all off. So here, this is where it gets a little bit different to normal games, I would say. The texture resolution and the filter, I've got them both set to high here. I think this keeps a bit of the fidelity in the game, makes it look a little bit nicer without losing too much quality, and doesn't overly impact the frames I've found, because we're decreasing the quality in other areas. So you can keep these two on high. Detail quality is on low. I've just found that was best. I don't want too much clutter going on in the game, so that just reduces some of the details of bits of grass and stuff like that. Particle resolution, you can set this to low if you want to squeeze a few extra frames, but I found leaving it on normal to be fine, and you still get a bit of quality there. Bullet impacts is a bit of a personal preference one. I've just got it off just so I remember. But if you want to see bullet impacts, you can turn it on. It doesn't really improve frames or anything like that. Shader quality and shading quality, you can both set to low. I have these set on low just to keep my frame rate consistent. I don't want any dips, so these are quite impactful ones to keep your frame rate consistent. And then here, I've got my on-demand texture streaming set to optimized. I just left this one as default. I didn't touch this. I haven't had any problems with it so far. Same with the local texture streaming. Just keep that on default. And then in-game video quality is on high. It makes no difference there, I've found. So in shadow and lighting, I've basically set everything to low or off. I haven't gone down to very low for shadow quality. I feel that makes it look really bad, but I feel like you still get a good frame rate and quality comparison with just low. Moving on to the last tab on environment, I've set the terrain quality to medium. Again, I think that's, well, it's in the name, it's perfectly in the middle. It's not too awful looking, but you still get good frame rates, and then everything else is set to low and off. Apart from weather grid, I've got that on low. Just makes the game look a little bit nicer, but it's, if you find that's annoying, just turn it off. You won't see too much performance change. So in view, we get a bit more personal preference here. I'm playing on 110 FOV instead of 120 for the beta. I've just found it makes the game feel a little bit slower, makes my aim feel a little bit nicer. And I'm trying the enhanced FOV. These are just personal preferences here. The only thing I would recommend is just turning all the camera movements down to minimal. It just means your screen doesn't shake so much, and it's not as distracting when you're playing. In keyboard and mouse, this is all down to personal preference. I'm playing on 3.5 cents on 600 DPI, so I'm playing pretty slow at the moment. Then keybinds, I mean, I wouldn't copy mine. I sprint on Q, and I've got slide on shift, I believe. Yeah, I've got crouch and slide on shift, and then I sprint on Q, so I wouldn't take any keybind recommendations from me. I think most of my movement stuff's all pretty standard. I haven't changed too much. I thought the game was pretty good out the box, really, for movement. Audio, the only thing in here that I've changed is just making sure that it's set to headphones. For some reason mine defaulted to home theater, so just make sure you got headphones selected. Other than that, I've just got everything at 50 because I felt I had my windows sound very loud. The game was very loud when I first started playing. An interface, some more personal preference stuff. I've just got my frame counter, GPU temp, and then my ping, game latency in the corner, just so I know what's going on most of the time. Again, you can do what you want here. I think these are the three sort of main ones that people have on. In HUD, I have my HUD edges set to the absolute minimum here. I like everything being sort of squished in the middle. You don't have to turn your head too far to be able to see things. Got my crosshair lines on static, and I've got a pink crosshair outline. Just makes it a bit nicer, I feel. Makes it stand out from the background. There's not anything really pink at the moment in any of these beta maps. Other than that, I think most of this stuff is set to default. So none of this is going to impact FPS. Everything FPS based would be in the display and quality sections that we went through earlier. So yeah, that's my settings breakdown for the Modern Warfare 4 beta. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Let me guys know what settings you're playing on, and if there's anything you think I can improve on with my settings. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoy the beta and the open beta, and I'll see you guys next time.